Okay, so my head's already swimming around with stuff, so I'm sure I'm gonna be all over the place. Is just, I don't know. First, I gotta say is, and I don't know if I said this yesterday. Everything is turning into such a blur. It's just everything is becoming a blur. It's so weird. Things just get weirder. If I haven't said it lately, things are weird as shit. Um, Sometimes it just seems like the ground is shaking. Sometimes I mean, it's weird. It's kind of like when you're awake, and you understand like that there's just like there's a lot of things you just start understanding, and but you can't do anything because of the vibration of the frequency and everybody else's energy. It's like you're in the blender, and so it's like you're affected by everything else going on, and so there's like so many things that are out of your control, and that part of my mind is but it's all over the place. I mean, right now I feel like I'm in hell. I know we're in hell. Like there's nothing lower than this shit. I mean, the evil and shit going on around us, like, um, but it's all a state of consciousness. It's all a dream, and so, but we're in the dream because there's a purpose to being in the dream, because it's like a game, because then we can play a role. It's like a whole thing. It all goes together. And the image things, like, I just don't know how to explain them all. Like, I can see them. And there was some cool ones I had just seen too. And it talked about, something that I talk about, but I don't know that I ever explain it right. But, like how there's portals everywhere. And so this person was doing this thing, and it was showing like ley lines, and there's all this crossover of ley lines and stuff. And I don't know if they just put a pattern on or if it actually makes a pattern. But if all these ley lines that cross over and where they join, and it creates a pattern, because on his image it looked like that. But I'm sure somewhere the further back you go, because everything has a different view from the further back you go. And so when we're up close, because everything has a purpose, being up close, going through this experience has a purpose. We're creating, we are creating intelligence. I mean, think about everything you go through and you learn. And that's what gives the universe its intelligence. That's what gives God, the Holy Spirit, its intelligence. And it wants all intelligence. It doesn't want just the good thoughts. It wants all thoughts. And so all experiences matter, all vibrations matter, all frequencies matter, all thoughts matter. So we have to, that's kind of funny. That's a good slogan. All thoughts matter. But so anyways, we got to get into that kind of vibration of understanding there's so much more going on, and to get to pull yourself into this experience to feel it. But that's what we're shifting into. And this is something I wanted to say too. Okay, so, but on the ley lines and the portal and all of the stuff, that's portals. All those energy things, that's where there's energy places that's how these multidimensional beings move through, is those, and it's all depends on frequency, and you find a frequency you can go through. And so all on different frequencies, but that's why we're so bound. That's like why we're in hell. And people don't all want to just come and hang out with us, do they? It's just kind of our, there's a purpose to all this. And, but this girl, she was making a video about the Star of David thing. Cause there's like the religious people have gone like, they are on a high fucking, they're on like a dopamine charge or something. They're doped up, and they are doped up on Jesus is coming, and the prophecy is here. But I fucking, and it's really weird too, is how Revelation stuck out to me so much as a kid. and I would watch Nostradamus. I was really, you know, focused on the future. No, I didn't really know why, because I kept thinking, you know, I thought we were going to all be nuked a long time ago. I didn't think we'd ever get to this point. So uh, now, uh, because I have a bunch of things going through my mind. Just a second. It's like a scatter shot, like a whole bunch of shit came flying out. Okay, hold on. So, um, anyways, so she was talking, okay, so yeah, the Revelations, and so it kept sticking out to me and sticking out to me when I was a kid, and it was like the only part of the Bible I wanted to know about, like, and now I'm hearing all this shit about the Bible's like, fuck, man, it really kind of freaks me out that people worship this, like, what in the holy hell, like, all these people sharing all these verses and shit, like, I heard one yesterday, and it was just sharing the verses where God ordered murder, and he hadn't even it was just going and going and going and going and going. It was horrible shit. Horrible shit. And it's all judgmental, hateful. Oh my God. I just couldn't believe it. I fucking can't believe they've got, oh my God. And then after he finished those ones, which I swear to God, it took 3 minutes. And then he said, that's only the first 3 chapters or something. I don't even know what the fuck. It was a very small amount. He's got way, way more to go. It was verse after verse after verse of hate. It's crazy. And, but anyways, but the religious people, the hateful God accepts them as long as they say, yes, we love you too. Let's all hate together. It's like, so that's what, there's not spiritual wrapped around all in religion. And when they made me, like, Revelation stood out and stuff, but so it's just like something that always catches my attention when I hear anything about it. And so much recently with all of these people talking about, like, doing all this research on the Bible and all that stuff, is Revelations was made up. They added in. It's like, to me, it's like when they started this realm, this habitat, to try and control this habitat. When they started that, then because that's different, because the habitat, think about it, because it's been all different. But think about it in the part where they started to try and the orphan kid, when they started making babies and shit. So that part of this experience thing, and so in, like, that's what I mean, is like all these ages, and this is what this person was saying too. None of the ages go together. Like, we have all these separate things, and at the end of each one, there's always a plague or crisis or something. And I know I forgot to finish something, but I think I'll get back to it. But anyway, that there was at the end of each age, that there's always these famines and war and all this stuff. And, and people just get so distraught and stuff. And I keep thinking, how people keep looking at things so different. They look at it, everybody looks at the wrong side. I don't, so hold on. I've been up since 12:30. It's so weird too. It's like it starts getting dark. I don't know, like 5:30 now. It's weird. I don't even know when this daylight savings time, like, they just jack around with everything. It's all fucking with our circadian rhythms and stuff. And I think they're doing it a lot harder now. Like, there's places where people aren't getting any moon. They haven't had a moon in a long time. There's other places that have literally 2 moons. One, right? It's like everything out there. The Truman Show has gone haywire. But I think it is, like, it could be white hats in control. Let's let these machines, go crazy, so that the people start waking up and going like, what's going on in the sky? What's happening around this place? But, so many people, they've got so much stuff to focus on. But, when I'm talking about how they were going to have things come out, oh yeah, the looking glass things. So when they have things coming out and showing them, And like I said, there was stuff like the Trump talk through the whole thing saying, well, this and this and this. And so I started seeing, I could recognize patterns, and I started seeing that they are using him to show other things. So they make that big, huge thing on that. The first year or the first month was the 6th day. And then, the big shebang. There's people who got 20 years for that. There's people who are still, they didn't get rights. They didn't, like, the what our government did. And see, that's going to be a big whole thing that's going to be coming out, because it is going against its own people. We don't have rights unless we agree with them. And so all these people who showed that they didn't agree with them got prison time, just like Assange, a Snowden. Anybody who tries to even tell or talk or anything, you can't go against these people. So they made that big thing with Trump. I mean, and it's gone to court. They've come at him. Think about who else come at him. What all those people and stuff. That's all exposing. That's all to show the corruption. How many people will break? I don't even know, because there are laws in this habitat. They created these laws for them against us. But see, that's the big dispute here, is there's God's law. And that's why so much of this stuff coming up is about the indigenous people and how they're just constant. I mean, it's crazy what's going on. And it's everywhere. And I started noticing it right away, because I was talking about it a few years ago with the Alaska stuff. And then with the islands that are over by Canada, I don't even know like what all that tribe is called, but they started doing shit over there. Like they were doing shit this whole fucking time. And, we're all talking about, well, God, they make us wear this. Well, I'm not going to do that. Well, I'm not going to do this. Well, you do that. Well, and they're just fucking killing people, taking their land. Like, I don't get all fucking upset about it, because I have such a, like, it's like when your soul is attached to something. And I know that's why it stands out to me. That's why it's supposed to stand out to me. Because, I have a attachment to a way of life, a way of, freedom. I ordered some mullein tea. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, and that's supposed to clear your lungs too. So I've got the mullein tea, and my chest is just like all of my, it's like, I don't know, my connective tissue or something. I don't even know. This is so weird. And I had some castor oil with rosemary in it, and I rubbed that on my chest, and it really heats up. And I also, Amy, I've got the magnesium coming, and I will get some vitamin D too. But I have the magnesium, so I'm going to start that tomorrow and see if that can do something for, because that, it can be stuff with us not having the proper minerals and stuff, make your body all whacked out. And then they're doing things to interfere like that. And then also these fucking plastic balloons I put in my goddamn chest. I know I can't get it off my mind. And see, and I know in our abilities, I should just be able to just make those stop being there. They're just not there anymore. I'm gonna let go of those things. They're gone. But the vibration, and I think that keeping us sick and stuff, that's why it's going to be like when the things shift and we go up, when we leave this heavy trauma type thing, it goes, the frequency is going to be so much different. Like it's going to change what we can do. We're held back. We're repressed. We're stagnant in a lot of ways. So there'll be like this big jump forward. But I think it'll make a big difference if you've done your healing and stuff, because all that stuff lightens the load. So, and gets your energy more on your focus. So all of those things. But, the universe is making sure everybody's getting things brought up to them. Situations, people, things are getting brought up to people to urge them to heal. So lots of people are healing, all the time. But, we've got a whole direction change, you know, a whole societal direction that we got to change. But that girl who was talking about, like, she was talking about that Star David picture that everybody keeps sharing and sharing about that showed up over Israel during the eclipse. Okay, so one thing is that she was looking all into it, and she doesn't think it's real. I still don't know if it's real. I've seen so many crazy things up in the sky with because there's things blocking things. So I have seen these lights come out where it looks like crazy stuff, like fucking angels, like all sorts of shit, because there's stuff there, and there's like lights behind things, and then there's lights shooting out. Like there's a lot of shit going on up in there. And so you know, I don't know, I mean, it's a cool looking thing, and you know, but there's definitely people, I mean, there's people who are sitting there fucking making fake videos of babies being like, shit, man, like people are doing all sorts of shit. So I don't know if it's a real video or whatever, but she was looking into it, and she was like, it's definitely not over Israel. And she found it was an old video, so it's some sort of old video, but the guy who was making it speaking a different language, I think. And so she still didn't know if it was, you know, made up or whatever. But then she had this whole weird story about Brazil, and there's a whole long weird story about Brazil. And then they were saying, so she was concerned because if that Star of David thing showed up over Brazil, because that would be kind of in alignment with like her dreams and her information and stuff for end times. And remember, probably each of our soul has a different end time. So, and it got to keep in mind, this is something that just drives me crazy, is because like there is, when she was saying it was the end of the age, and all these famine, all this bad stuff happens. So think about this, okay? The game is at the end. How do you get the players out? How do we get out? Like I keep telling people, you can't. People think like, well, you just kill yourself and you get out. No, you can't get out just because you kill yourself. No, go work at the hospital. No, lots of people try and kill themselves. Not everybody gets out. And you can't get out unless it's your time to get out. It's impossible. It's like we're in a dream. We're waking up in a dream, and it's like a game, and it is like a learning game, and it's a game that you can use your skills, and it's about your own awareness. Like it's all an advancement game, and its purpose, and its intelligence. And it's, you know, it's everything. It's like what the universe is. So, hold on. So, and I still haven't looked up all my roots and herbs and stuff that I'm drinking. But I haven't noticed at all about not drinking caffeine. I haven't. I have my kombucha, and I don't know, but even on my kombucha, where I used to drink, fuck, when I first started drinking kombucha, I drank, and that's why I started making it, because I was just like, drank it so much. I would drink like 4 or 5 of those fucking things a day. And at first, when I very first tasted it, I thought it was the most disgusting thing. I couldn't believe anybody ever drank that shit. And then once you adapt to the taste, then it's really good. It's like, I don't know, maybe that's the vinegar thing or something. Maybe that's what they're trying to replicate with the kidney cells or something. But it has like something that you start wanting, like an addictive thing or something. So in those ones, I was drinking all the time. And hopefully it wasn't because I put fucking kidneys in it too. Hopefully there really was something healthy there for a minute. And then because, you know, that was like a weird stuff that nobody was drinking and stuff. And so then I was drinking so much of it. It was so expensive. I was drinking like $10 a day of that shit. And so I was like, oh, I gotta make it. So I started watching videos. I started learning. I've been making it a long time now. But, and then mine is a lot more richer and stronger. You know, it's not, you know, I think the ones at the store, they add a lot more flavoring and stuff. But now I used to drink a whole bottle one, but now it's like I drink like a half of one. So I'm not even drinking very much of that. Even the food, like God, eating is so weird right now. Everything. And my oven still won't work. I've got bread in there right now. It's on 350. Nothing. It just is like, I think it's like maybe going to 150. Heat is coming out of my heater. I have to still try the dryer and see if it heats up, but I don't know. Something weird, just weird shit just keeps going. And, it's kind of like you got to roll with the punches because it is, this elaborate scheme is coming to my head that this habitat life is ending, and so it's changing. It's like the monkeys are coming out of the lab, but what are they going to do? And some of them are so scared, and and then some are just waiting for the next fucking ship to roll in, like fucking Jesus, come, hurry, get over here and save me. It's like, what? And I don't understand. Like, I just don't understand how everybody's mind, I don't understand. I mean, like, I'm seriously don't understand. I just don't understand how everybody is consuming their life, So it's like, fuck, I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't understand. Fuck, I don't understand how people go to church on Sunday. Like, do they skip those verses? I thought there was a lot of people who read the Bible all the time. Don't they know all those verses? And they just accept this fucking tyrant? Fucking evil motherfucker? Like, if they don't agree with you, murder them. Yeah, well, you take all the women, though. Make sure they're sex slaves. But chop all the kids' heads off. Like, it's like, what in the holy hell? I mean, it was disgusting. It was really bothering me. It's not, I'm like, I can make it sound like a joke now, but it was like, oh my God. Like, fuck. People go in and worship this shit. Like, what? Fuck. Like, how does this happen? They just label this book and tell them, and then all the people just like surrender their whole fucking moral compass, all in fear of going to hell. Like, you better do what he says. It's like, fuck, dude. No. God damn. I just don't understand it. And I know, like, and I'm going to see my, Mom, I think I am going to see some people next week. We'll see what happens this weekend. I mean, things are so tense right now. It's like, fuck, anything can happen. But you got to keep in mind all about this, about the exposing. So remember, that first month and the 6th day, that that whole situation and all this stuff that they made, and now what's going on in there. So it's like they knew that was coming, but they wanted to make sure that we understood it was a crime. So now we see, like, hey, wait a minute, this is a crime. What's happening here? This is a crime, and y'all are just going okay. So that's the awakening part. That's the part where people, that's why I said he's like the bulldozer. He goes in and they use him to dig it all up to show us. But then it just does a little switcheroo. It's like, I've seen this lady's video a couple times. She's fucking loses her mind, dude. She's like, some of these liberal older ladies are fucking whacked, man. It's like, god damn, maybe these hormones are doing bad on you. Maybe get off the hormones or something. Like, what? I don't do any hormones, by the way. And and when I was a nurse, I was asking people. I asked tons of old ladies. And some did and some didn't. And the ones who didn't seemed like I chose to do didn't. But then they did put me on them for a bit when I was complaining about so many problems. And they kept saying, well, you wouldn't have that problem if you would have that. Well, you wouldn't have that problem if you take. So, and you can go and you can get it mixed perfectly to your body and stuff. It's bad. It's bad. All of them are bad. Yeah, I mean, drinking cow's milk is bad. There's so much stuff this vent that they've told people is good for them, and it's not. And I knew, like, fucking even with cow's milk, my mom was there trying to make us drink it. I was like, God, no, that's disgusting. And, I was pushed hard. I was thinking about something too, is another thing that was pushed hard. Right now, my mind is going through a bunch of different things, trying to see if I finished it, but I've still got to go on with this one. But the something that I was thinking about was this morning. I'd seen something or whatever, and I was thinking it's so crazy because it was all during the news. It would have been dinner time. So think about that. Like everybody, because back when we were younger, people came home the dads came home from work, and the moms were there cooking, and the dad would get his drink and turn on the news, take his shoes off, sit down. Mom would get in dinner together, holler at the kids to set the table and stuff. It was very, time that everybody was around each other. That's your time that you talk to your mom and dad in the daytime. And so they would always have that time for both hours, 5 and 6, would be the news. And think about what was on the news, because I've been thinking about it. And, like back when we were younger, like we had fucking Vietnam nonstop. We had fucking Nixon. I was thinking they gave us a brief moment of joy when they gave us the bicentennial, and everybody got excited and celebrated, but it was all about the gear. Like fucking rainbows ain't got nothing on the bicentennial. And so then we had Gaddafi, we had gas shortages, we had all the industry, the car industry is all shutting down, everything moving to China, and all throughout that stuff, I was thinking, you know what they always made sure to tell us on the news? Something wrong that the black people were doing. Every fucking day. Black people are on welfare. Black people are having too many kids and not taking care of them. And what got me thinking about it was... now I gotta just say Cece because now this morning, which I don't know where you live, but I was surprised. But everybody's up at all different times, but I just didn't know if you were a different time zone or if you were in America or whatever. But if you've told me before, I don't remember. Everybody's gotta remember. I don't have a memory really. It's a very basic memory, but well, I don't know but see, this is stuff. That's why I rely on, they show me pictures and stuff. And that's what I'm trying to get used to too, is like, I don't have a brain injury. Fuck, I got a fucking goddamn library available. I don't remember things that don't really matter. We hold on to things like snapshots, pictures. Why do we hold on to so many things? So, but, I had to go through a lot. I had to lose my whole fucking brain to realize some of that stuff. And even then, when I lost all my pictures, all my iCloud, all my video, all that stuff, that also, fuck, that hurt. God, all those years and years of photos, all Stella's, baby. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, there was a lot of life I lived in that time, and all of it was lost. And so anyways, when I'll go into crisis, they always start telling me things. That's why I said, like, when you are having hard things, they'll tell you things, and they'll, and then it's always like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, okay. But, like, it's, you don't need to hold on to that stuff. And we hold on to it. And so it's constant, this whole part of our life right now is about letting go. And so, but it was when we were just talking this morning, and you said was sad about that lady's video about how beaten she was, and then telling about your husband, and then like, it's so, God, there's so many people who have been so beaten. But anyways, it made me think about that. And then I got the news thing, because I've been thinking about those teachers back there crying and about how much that affected her, and thinking about like, in a certain communities that there was like a lot of people being beaten, but then in other communities it was still being very hidden. And so a lot of people didn't know what was going on, because in some communities things were just like, well, it looks pretty. Well, they go to church, all this just, And well, they got a nice house. They drive nice cars. So, anyways, the um, the shallowness is superficial. But I was seeing about on the news, it was just nonstop, you know, and I knew from the things I went through, you know, because they did the whole thing with the desegregation with the high school, and they bust them all into our school and whatnot, and then they supposedly bust a bunch of kids out, but it was like, I don't know, I didn't know every kid in the school, and but I know half our school turned dark skinned, and we were all friends. Nobody had any problem. Like I said, the only one who was like Tina Darty, but she was just like, keep out her way. She was just an angry girl, and she probably had a horrible family life. But you know, all these kids, you know, are being contained. That's all they do. Put reservations, make ghettos, places, and then they contain people. And then and there was so much manipulation over business license, who could have business, at like where you can live, like all of it is manipulated. But then they would put all this bullshit on the news, and they were trying so hard to turn people against other people, to make all the people think all the problems in the world because these poor people trying to take advantage of the government. And it was always every night. And but anyways, it just reminded me of that. And I was just thinking, you know, about those teachers, and you know, I'm sure it really was just traumatic, you know, because there was just this constant talking on the news, and then, you know, it's just right there, and this little girl's mom doesn't care about her, and she's all beaten and torn up like that, you know. So anyways, it's just all been a part of humanity's growth and awareness, and you know, everybody's playing out all these little, there's so many little games going on, and we try and lump it all in, but there's like, when you are trying to lump it in, you got to kind of go back to the spiritual, to the energetic and stuff, because not everybody's things that go on in their orbit has an effect on us, but it has a mass movement. It moves things, like that girl, you know, being abused like that, and then going before those teachers, you know, naked and showing her battered body, is that made a move, that changed something. So that's why I say, like, a lot of bad things that happen to people are what makes big changes. And the bad things that happen to people, they got to start realizing that you're not broken. You got gifts from that. So that's what I'm saying. Stop looking at it as you're broken. There's gifts inside of you. There's things that you know and understand that other people don't know and understand. And so you need to focus on your gifts, not just keep feeling broken. And when you keep going back to relive that pain, you need to go back and forgive and focus on letting go, because it's just holding you back, and it's holding you in pain and suffering. Like my ex, who said, like, just drink and drink and drink and whine and cry, just was so stuck in victim, poor me, poor me, poor me. What a way to live. But, you know, I mean, when you get to your life review, you got to look at it, like, you know, and I can't say, you know, it's not mine to judge. Maybe exactly what he was supposed to do. He's playing a role for somebody or something. Maybe when he gets up there, he is like, good, you did a good job. Like, I'm so excited with myself. And, or he'll get up there and go like, God, ugh, man, I get down. And, you know, and then go back into some other hard life. But a lot of things too, because it's just going into these like dreams. I swear to God, it's like your soul is in this mass library, and it's as lost as you can get in a book, you know, as lost as you can get in a story. But you can't get out of the story once you're in the story. You're interjected into the story, and you can't get out until your part is finished, until your role is played out. And so when people start panicking about, like, oh, there's gonna be all this death, there's gonna be all this famine, it's like, come on, guys, how do you get out of the fucking story? How do you get out? Like, think about it. Don't look at it as like, oh my God, this is so horrible. Like I keep hearing, Like all these people talking about how horrible it is. And it is, on so many levels. It's so horrible. It's so tragic. Like I can't fucking watch these tears and stuff. And I see people just being so much in pain, watching all these videos, like things that they wish they had never seen. And it's like they're putting themselves through this hell because you got to look at when you need to look away. I swear. And I know it's not about ignoring it or putting your head in the sand, but you don't have to. You can know something's happening and talk about it and represent it and send out, like I can tell everybody, but these people who watch every fucking little body being dropped, like God, you're just traumatizing yourself. Like why you have like this one guy was saying, I can't get these images out of my head. You gotta quit looking. Is going fire. My brother, who's a fireman, has said, you do not get the images out of your head. And I know as the horrible things I've seen as a nurse, no, you do not get them out of your head. I mean, there's horrible things we've seen in movies. They put them in there because they know that we do not get them out of our head. That they can play something else up and it's going to bring up that core memory. It's going to remind us, and we're going to go into fear just automatically because it was programmed into us to react that way. So, and that's what they're basing all this stuff on right now. Revelations and the Armageddon and all this propaganda and stuff that they've put out, and how all of the people's reaction. But everybody's got all the different reactions, and everybody's soul knows when they're leaving. And like, I think that's why some people, I just saw this spiritual girl, and she's like, I used to, I don't know if she's spiritual. I don't really know what her thing is. But she said, I used to always be able to see the future. I always knew what was coming. And she said, all of a sudden, I can't see anything. And I'm kind of concerned. And, it's probably her soul telling her, hey, you're about to leave this game. This game's over for you. But so many people just keep thinking that that's all there is. But this is, this is a hair on your head. This is like this is one focus. This is your focus right now. That's it. There's so much more to focus on. There's so much more. Leaving the game opens up everything for you. So there's nothing to fear leaving the game. And you're back to your higher vibration. And you've added on to your vibration that you left at by going through this experience. So you are even higher and brighter. You can move further. You can go more. So, there's a lot of benefits. Like there's benefits to getting to leave the game and see, like, how far have I come? It's like a growth chart or something. Like I have one right there that I've drug around and it's got my kids' marks on it. It's like one of those. Like your soul goes back. How far did I go? But anyways, so, okay, so the looking glass thing, which I just saw something. It's like some of this stuff is going to be going mainstream, with all of this technology and stuff coming out. And, like the stuff David Wilcock was talking about such a long time ago. So many of these people have been out here talking about stuff. And, they should be getting, props about it, and all these people are going to come out like, oh, this is such new information. No, it's not. I know for my own self, I've talked about this shit. And people laugh at you and tell you you're crazy. And so, and the people I heard it from, they were talking about even longer to even more people being called crazy even more. And so when this shit is coming out, it needs to be acknowledged. Like, this is not new. People have been trying to get people to wake up to this for a long ass time. And so, but the looking glass had a big thing to do with all of this stuff and the quantum computer and putting it in and, seeing what's the best way to work all this stuff out and to wake the people up, to wake up the masses and stuff. And, you got to let stuff play out. You got to let them see. Seeing is believing. So they got to see it for themselves. Like they got to see this, like like that woman yelling and screaming about Trump. Like it is mental. Like these people seriously think that Joe is this great guy. He's just had some problems because that damn Trump. I mean, that fat motherfucker. I mean, the stuff that they say, they lose their goddamn minds over it. And it's like, oh my God, that's going to be a hard pill to swallow. But that's what I'm saying. People are out there just throwing their ego just out there all over the place. And it's going to be like, oh my gosh, when you see the truth, then fuck, that's going to be like, see, I mean, how do you go and do all that and not feel shame of your ignorance? And you've made a big public display of it. And I mean, you've fucking gone viral being hateful and ignorant. So, but that is that soul's, it's its karmic debt. It's putting its own stuff into balance. It's what it's come to learn and experience. So, but there's going to be some experiences that are like, people aren't going to see coming. That's for sure. But so, I think a lot of this stuff that is going on was like stuff that they knew was going to be going on. And there's more earthquakes in California, by the way. So, and I also have family in California. So it's like, I'm not just saying it like, yay. Like, no, like I would rather things like if I could pick, but I would pick to make sure people didn't just leave because I don't want to feel the pain of loss. So, and I've got to, can't hold everybody in the game so that we don't have to experience pain and loss. And then how everybody chooses to leave the game. And right now there's so much drama because that is a big thing that has to go on. That's a part of the awakening. So there's got to be this horrible, dramatic, everything is a fucking show. Everything is to get our attention. It's like one nightmare after another. There's a nightmare in that house, over this one, like everywhere. There's just like crises after crises. And so that is all of, that's to get people to pay attention or to wake up at, like all that energy was going to be coming in, like they knew the different things that were going to be doing it. And so I think that they knew like that all these storms, because I think they knew this cataclysm thing, like they've known, like what the generals were going and buying that land up in the Appalachian and stuff, is it's move up. It's going up because when you look at the map, it's the mountains are going to be like it is like I've never been to Ireland or Scotland or something, but it seems like in like footage or something I've seen, like maybe like Wuthering Heights, but things like that, those really steep cliffs going down the side. That's what I think it's going to be more like on the water, like how we have sandy beaches, and up north on the west side though, it's more like a lot of rocks, and it's not a warm beach, it's windy and cold. So but I think it's going to be more like that Wuthering Heights kind of cliffs when the water changes and it moves out to the mountains, because it's not going to be on the land. I think it's going to come right up to the mountains, and then there's going to be like big peaks. Like it wouldn't be able to like live on them like that. Like if you were living on them, I think you'd be living back some, looking way out. I don't know how we're all going to live, but I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of little places that are going to pop up, little villages, and communities will pop up all over the place. And so, everybody's going to live in different places, how they want to live. There's going to be a mad scatter. And it's very curious about just getting all these people here. Like they've got so many people here, and they're trying to move more people in. And I think there's more going on, is that all these people are not fucking coming here to soldier us. Like, no. I think a lot of them are coming because they want a different way of life, because all of these other countries have been going through this for the whole fucking time. Like these fucking in the habitat people running it wanted all the primo land. They're like, well, we want this land. Well, we want this land. They want everything on the water. They want to keep moving us in. They want to control all the resources. I don't know. They're just weird. They're just mad scientists. They're just weirdo people with too much money, and they're money hoarders, and they're scared. They fear death. Them, I mean, some of these people do whatever to just keep staying alive. I think they've been alive for a long ass fucking time too. And I just seen a thing too where it was talking about the original people. All the original people all come from Atlantis, and Atlantis, was a different space and time, a different reality, a different realm or whatever. And I have always been drawn to Atlantis ever since I was a kid. Like, there's certain things, like when you were really drawn as a kid and you had no idea why. And then as you get older, and it's like, oh, weird. So, totally feel like that's when I was more connected to this place. But I know I've come in other lives because I keep getting memories and stuff, because these different things will come to you and you'll just remember. It's not like, it's like you see it and you feel it. It's like you know it. And you know that this is you. You know that this experience is yours. So you keep having those kinds of things. So, no, but like that guy said, we've had millions probably. Like the way I see it is like, how can you count how many dreams you've had just while you've been in this reality? So it's kind of the same thing. It's like consciousness just dreaming, coming up with experiences. So and that's why each one has to end. Like, but we're going into a different time. That's what's so weird. We're going into this transition time. So nothing is black and white. That's what we're leaving from behind. But there was a certain way of life, a certain expectation, a certain way we lived. But it's changing now. We're in a transition. It's all moving because we are moving into a time when we don't die. And that is going to be because we are of a higher state of consciousness, because we're not as attached to our bodies. We're not as attached to the 3D. We don't need to be in the dollhouse. We can move out of it. But then when you move out of it, it is such an open field that you have to be comfortable to get out of it. So there's we've got a step down. We're in the step down unit, stepping down out of the 3D, walking into the great unknown, entering our adventure. So as your consciousness lets go of the safety net of what it was holding on to try and understand its reality and what it was and stuff. So as it lets go of that, it transitions into the great unknown. And that's why, and it's all based on your own vibration and frequency. And that's why you gotta, go with your own self. Go with your flow. Don't try and form your flow to somebody else's flow. Where people are like, well, you got to do this. There's so many people out there doing that, trying to tell you the rules of spirituality. It's like, oh, that is another weird thing that's going on. It's just something's got to play out. It's not even fucking real spirituality. It's like they've got a little taste of it or something. But spirituality is, letting each soul figure its own self out. It's, and that is something too, because that was a part of my thing as a mom, as I wanted the kids, like I didn't want to just tell them how to think and stuff. I wanted them to learn to think for themselves, and I wanted them to, not just, because I believe in reincarnation. Well, you're going to believe in reincarnation too. I wanted them to go and find what felt right to them, what motivated them, what they felt and thought. And, I just wasn't really... there's always, you learn more as you move out of situations, but I just didn't really realize the impact that other people can have when they're pushing their beliefs on somebody, when there's not getting really a balance, because it's like, my kids don't even know mine at all. And it's like, I don't know how you don't. It's like, I had books laying around all the time. I always talked about reincarnation. I always talked about Buddhism. Like, how did you not know? I mean, I got the one daughter, because she starts, her perspective of me is just as so limiting. And I got to quit worrying about like how she sees me. Like, it's whatever, dude. But we have these these soul connections. They're these deeper connections, and that's where I don't know for sure what we're playing out. Like, I don't know why she can say something to me, and we don't hear each other right ever. And she always thinks that I'm saying things how she perceives them is how I mean them. And it's like, and she always perceives them as I'm like, I think that she's an idiot. I'm always trying to attack her, and stuff. And then I'm always defending myself. And then she always, it just is like, becomes this whole toxic thing every time. And we've gotten much better at pulling free and just going, okay, like, we can recognize this is going nowhere. Like, we have gotten in so many arguments, and we both have a different perspective, and we both keep trying to tell the other one. But that's why I said it's like, one of us is dark and one of us is light. And so we have different philosophies, and we just are on different wavelengths. But I know that that is a part of, like, the soul trying to learn. So no, it's not something toxic or bad. I know I'm trying to learn something. And then also, when you have these battles with this other soul, and you can't, it's more complex than we understand. And it really stood out to me. It was this one that I had heard, and it was like, if you read reincarnation books and stuff like that, but I don't remember where I had heard this story. But the woman and the son had problems all the time. They just would fight and fight and fight. And then one of them went in and got like a past life regression, or hypnotized for something else, something. But anyways, then it came out in this hypnosis that the other person had killed them, and that they were the child. And then the other person went and got one, and then they saw this pattern that they kept going back and forth playing each other's parent child relationship, and one of them kept murdering the other one. And that's why they had so much tension. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, none of us know what other things that we've played out and stuff. So don't get all like, for sure, don't think like, well, the other person's just an idiot. They're just an asshole. I fucking hate them and stuff. Don't get into that. Like, that's where you get yourself trapped in those, like a 3D battle. It's a 3D battle of your imagination. It's a waste of time and energy. So you got to just be like, okay, we got something more going on. It will come clear to me. I ask for it to be clear to me. It will become clear to me if I need to work it out, if I need to work on it, or when it's supposed to come clear to me, it will all of a sudden pop up and I will understand it fully. But I have the awareness of it. She has the awareness of it. But I always, some of the things that she'll say to me is always just like, it's just like, fuck, man. But, when I look back at my childhood, my mom was like a ghost. I just see her as like a ghost going around. But, she was listening, because that ghost had a heavy hand. So that ghost would pop out of nowhere, give you a big old smack upside the head. You better shut the fuck up. No, she wouldn't say that. She was always just disgusted with you. She was just disgusted. Like, we were just so disgusting to her, but she was a fucking child, and she didn't know, any weird shit that kids would do. Like, we sat and looked at, we found some book downstairs. I remember one time down in the basement, and somebody found a book. I swear to God, my brothers and my sisters were always doing naughty shit. And I would always go to see what they were doing, and then I'd always get in the middle of it. But they found some book, and I could have too. I found my dad's Playboys, but we're sitting down there looking. It was probably some science thing, I probably showed a picture of a butt or something, and we're down there laughing about it. And just think about, like, when you're a kid and you see National Geographic and stuff, and you're sitting there laughing like, oh my God. And then, my mom, if you were laughing or doing something, you're being naughty, you're being disgusting, you're being nasty or something, So it was always like, it's so crazy how that just really programs a kid too. Like, we really have got to really open up and let kids, adventure themselves, figure shit out. We don't need to be shaming them and telling them, like, something's wrong with them all the time. We got to be allowing them to experience and discover. That's what we're here to discover ourselves, to discover who we are. And how can you be held back in your discovery? And that is another thing too, that is a common theme, is being repressed. Like, that is the whole thing about like the Histler too, is if you look with his stuff, if you believe in the channeling and stuff, but supposedly his dad um wouldn't let him do art, and he wanted to do art really, really bad, and he wouldn't let him. And I don't remember, if that was nasty, or you're going to do something better with your time or whatever. There's been a lot of stuff, like, especially guys trying to do creative things. And then, so he got shamed and wasn't allowed to. And then, whatever it was in his past life, before that, he was like a great artist and he did art, and so then when he came into the next life, he had this outlet. He needed to do art still, and but it was repressed from him, it held him back, but it created so much anger and tension. But I still, as all this stuff is playing out, I'm still really, and knowing about Gaddafi and Manson and stuff, like, fuck, dude, I'm not going to sit here and hate this guy that I don't really know the whole story, because maybe there was a reason he was after a certain group of people. Or maybe those people were doing something about, like, what, Putin is talking about, because they can twist that shit around and turn it. I mean, they're trying to do it to us right while we're watching it. Well, some people, when the people who aren't watching it, they're easily twisted. But the ones who are watching it, they're trying to twist us around. And it's like, so, and I don't know, because I'm really thinking, I mean, and I'm not saying all, and I don't even understand all this, like, where they keep saying now about Zionists. So I don't even know all this religious shit. This fucking Zionists and Israel and Israelites and the Jews and Jerusalem. Like, fuck, I don't fucking know. There's a lot of, there's just a lot of tribes. There's a lot of interference. There's a lot of movement, but there's a certain group that seem to go through other ages and seem to get to this one and held all the money and started holding control. And like, I just saw something that I thought was very interesting. The average household income for one of those families is $158,000 a year, whereas a average regular family, it isn't of that persuasion, religion. Like, now you're even hearing things like it's not even about religion. So it's because they're all different religions. So it's this bloodline, and so the but the other people who aren't of that bloodline. So that bloodline makes 150 a year, and the other people that would be their equal, apples to apples or whatever, they're making like 48,000 or 50,000 or something. So it's a big, giant thing. And I had heard that. I think that is even in that Adam Sandler movie about the where he is, I think he's a jewel person. There's a lot of shit. Like, you just go in certain movies. Like, I've seen it. Like, I've got a lot of reference on it because it's always stood out to me. But there was a lot of shady shit. Like, and so it's like they're definitely gangsters from, like, there's something about this, like, but there's a big thing, like, you're not allowed to talk about, which is also very strange. Like, that you're not allowed to say anything about them, just like you're not allowed to say anything bad about God. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot. So anyways, I'm not saying all of those people, are bad, but the bad people are of that breeding somehow. But there's a thing about all of the different tribes and stuff, and you have tribes and stuff from different places. Like, there's so much more going on and all these different ages and different things playing out, and like there's just it's so much more. People are just trying to put together the pieces. Like, I feel like I'm just stepping back further and further from it, because now, like, when I see these people and all just saying stuff that's just like, oh my God, to me, it's like, okay, Kelly, quit being judgmental. This is, new to them. This is just all new to them. And so I got to keep on being like, okay, this is all new to them. Don't be judgmental. Don't be judgmental. Sit back. You're okay. But it's like, oh my God. Like, what? Some of this stuff I hear people say and stuff, it's like, I gotta figure, like, well, I started way back there sometime too. I've gotta just let everybody be where they're gonna be. It's gonna be part of the frustration too. It's like, fucking trying to teach your kid how to drive or tie their shoe. It's like that kind of frustration. So, but let me think, because it seemed like that there was some stuff that I'm skipping around. Hold on just a sec. With all the protests and stuff, which I find, just one thing too, where this whole thing with, like, there's a whole group of people, and since I've moved out of that energy anymore, like, I was out of that energy, like, when was I still picking sides? I think I quit in 2020. And then plus, like, way back in 2016, when I heard that other girl and she was talking about Putin being the good guy, and there was more things like I knew he was a good guy way before. So, especially by 2020. Then, so let me think. Cause, I don't know, but, I know I wasn't picking sides with the Crane or any of that stuff. And, well, I definitely picked sides on this and this, but it wasn't just picking sides. It was picking, reference material. I had to pick my true own self. I couldn't go against my own inner knowing. I was like, fuck that. And, so anyways, but, this one that's going on right now has got a whole huge group of people. Like, it's really dividing a certain group of people. I would say the progressives and the liberals are really at odds on this, and they are at war. Like, there's a lot of, if you don't do this and don't follow me, stop following me and stuff. Like, people are really upset. And so it's very divided. And the people that are trying to spread the word about one group, about, the genocide, and they're trying to spread that information. And the other people who watch the news, they get a different story. And see, this is what I experienced in 2020. That's why I became aware of it in 2020. And I was talking about it then. It's like, ugh, man. Nobody, just because people don't see the news is lying. Like, it was a whole thing. And so I was seeing it back in 2020. And then we went through the Crane. I don't remember if there was something in between. But it's like, those people are kind of letting go now. Like, people who were all caught up in that. But there's still people who are all up in, putting a flag as their picture and stuff like that. So there's still people just really caught up in it. But there's a lot of people who, when they made the shift over to the new one, to the, the strip and this situation, that they all of a sudden saw, and so they let go. And they were like, okay, this is bullshit, especially over here now, because now they're playing both teams. Like, Joe's like, well, we're going to give you some money. We're going to give you some money too. Okay. Now you're even making less sense. But this is the absurdity, And just the whole thing about that, they keep saying, what is he even doing over there? And nobody wanted him over there. Why is he over there? And now it's broke out a new battle. So, are they going to make sure that he ends up staying over there and never gets to leave? Is he going to be killed off over there? I don't know. And who knows? Maybe he's already left and he's gone today. But yesterday they were making this whole thing about it. And so if, okay, because let me think. So Joe, I got to think back to where I was a second ago before I interrupted myself with Joe. Because I know I didn't finish saying what I was going to say. So, the Joe, oh, okay. So so now though, so you have these people who, there's still some holding on to that but it's mostly on the money. They're really pissed off about it. So you're giving all this money to them, all this money to them, all this money to them. And, so, which, and it's all huge amounts of money. So right there, this is just to get people outraged. This is all to get people, this is to get people pissed so they're paying attention, so that they realize the corruption, the money laundering and shit that's going on. And you have a huge amount of people who are just realizing that the news is lying and that they're trying to talk to people. And that the people they're trying to talk to keep saying, well, the news said this, the news said that, you're lying and stuff. And the people who are on TikTok who are watching all these live videos are seeing all this stuff happen, which also, on top of that, we live in a fucking giant movie studio, so any of the fucking footage can be all artificial. And please riddle me this, is for the people who just want to consume, people under a certain age, and that they are hot. Like, really, you think the government is really going to blow up 1,000? Like, how much money is that? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't surprise, especially because of the place is 50% kids. Like, that seems like a fancy little marketplace for these people. Oh, just stop by the strip and grab you a couple. Nobody notices. And so, I mean, all these fucking Hawaii kids, there's a bunch of them showing back up. So, I don't know. But then there's people who are, carrying their kids out in garbage bags and stuff, apparently, on all this horrible footage that people keep seeing. It could very well be a movie, like, where they're watching it live. But I have seen some of this stuff that's live. I saw a live video yesterday where they were showing the eclipse. But, oh yeah, because that is a thing too. That is something I wanted to say. I don't know if I already said it, but so October 28th, there's all this stuff going with October 28th. There's a bunch of shit with October 28th that I keep hearing, like on the dates, where we always have dates. And October 28th quickly became, a big one. But it has been for ever since October started, is it has something to do with Nasara. It has like stuff like that. And then also, in their revelations, where Israel is going to be dusted and stuff, Syria. And so the Ring of Fire eclipse is over Israel on October 28th. That girl who was looking up all that stuff, she found, because she went to look up when was the eclipse over Israel, but it's going to be over it October 28th. So I was like, okay, so maybe October 28th. I mean, I think all this year is just, all this month is crazy. I mean, it's going to keep getting crazier and crazier. But, maybe October 28th is when it's going to be dusted over there. Maybe that is going to be, but I kept thinking that some of this stuff would move more people, before this big earthquake. So I don't know if that, there's definitely being a bunch of earthquakes, and, I don't know. It's just hard to say how things are going to play out, what the things are that are going to wake everybody up. And it's going to be whatever this bad thing that happens is the big shift that turns us in the other direction. It's just like, yeah, we'd all like to play it, real easy and not have it be too bad. But we got to remember, like, half the souls are leaving the game. Half of them are like, this is my time out. And even if they can't remember it, and even if they feel scared leading into it, as soon as it happens, then they'll be like, oh, fuck yeah, thank God, out of that. And, as soon as they feel what it feels like to get out, feel it, because your body is what holds this pain. It holds uh, it's what holds your pain and suffering. It's, your soul in its energetic form doesn't hold on to pain and suffering, but its identity is its experiences, which is its DNA. And so its experiences, that's why you got to listen to your body about what you eat. You don't just start fucking stop eating meat because they told you that's how you get to the pearly gates. Don't eat meat or you can't go to heaven. Don't listen to these people. Look, think about all the goddamn people throughout history who have fucking eaten meat. Why do you think that this stuff is there? You're there to go through the process, to learn. It's all about learning and stuff. Don't fucking listen to people. And you got to listen to your DNA, because your DNA is structure. And so it's you. It's what you need. And so anyways, but we're going into that part of us. But in that part of us, I think that we can express ourselves into different, but this is really interesting, I thought too. Okay, so this was, now there's this whole thing, and I don't know, I mean, some of this shit you hear, it's like, okay, so is this like made up, and now they've spread it on the internet, now everybody's talking about it, so it seems real. So I don't know, or if it is real, but supposedly, supposedly, that there is a new girl, and she looks exactly like exactly like Lady Di. And Lady Di had a child before William with fucking Charles, a hidden child. So they had a girl child that they hid away. And even William didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it. This child has been hidden away. He looks nothing like Charles, only looks like Diana. And now she's come out, and even William didn't have time to go meet with her, but his wife did, and was just so impressed by how much she's just like Diana. But she didn't know Diana. And because I think this is Diana. I think she's like gone through the med beds, because she's around my age, and if they took her back 25 or 30 years, like, I'm sure this is what she'd look like. And she's really pretty. She's got really long blonde hair. She doesn't look like short hair anymore. She's got long blonde hair, but it's the exact same face. And so anyways, I mean, they can say whatever, well, why would yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But that is, to me, when we go through the med beds, people who are like us in our 60s, 70s. I've even told my mom, because she's almost 80, and I said, Mom, you'll still go back 25 years. Your cells will still go back, like where you were at like 60. And so, a lot of us are going to go back to our cells, like our cells at like where we were at 35, 30 years old. So that is what she looks like to me, that she went back to like 35, 36 years old. And but it's kind of like we get like a do-over. It's like we get a new opportunity, for those of us who can let go of the structured dollhouse mentality and can move out of that and move into this quantum cycle, and start really understanding, us and atoms and speed and frequency and vibration and all of that stuff. And as we evolve and we become more to ourselves, then it's like we can go into this med bed thing, and it can vibrate you and put you in a high frequency that gets you back to an optimum state of your cellular structure. And so that brings us back to a young age. That's why, we're going into a time period where we're not going to be dying, but it's not going to be this same kind of density as like what we're experiencing here. I think we're going to be able to move way faster. We're going to be able to use portals. We're going to be able to, like, there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to learn how to do. But it's like we also have to be evolving as this is going on. Oh, man, that's so weird. I get the craziest things, like these smells that come in, and all of a sudden I'm back at this other place that I don't like. Fuck. It's places that you don't even remember, you don't even think about, and all of a sudden you're there. I don't know if this is a part of like we're in this blender and my consciousness is just spinning through experiences or something. Like I feel so weird. I seriously feel like a ghost myself, and it's this whole thing is just so weird. And Paulus is painful. Like Stella's in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. And I keep, blaming these fucking balloons on my chest. Like, I swear to God, I wish I could just take my hand in there and pull it out. If I wasn't so anti having them cut me open or having anything to do with medical doctors or any of that stuff, I would be in there. But not, fuck, that's like going to the gas chamber. It's like going in and asking the Yahtzees, hey, you mind doing some surgery on me? Like, fuck that. Fuck those motherfuckers. So, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wait it out till the med beds. When we get to the med beds, like, all of the things, like, whatever, if your hair is falling out, your teeth are falling out, you got tumors growing in you, all of the different things that your body's shorting out on from all of this interference that they're creating. When we get into those, it's going to just get you back to, your optimum, is back to your balance, to your level. There's a word coming in, but I can't see it good enough that is a better descriptor. But anyways, it's, it's all of this process. We're going through all of this for a reason. Everything that's happening is happening for a reason. And, and there's just fucking goddamn in a world where people worship monsters. Like, God, go in and sing songs to this guy every Sunday? Fuck. Find a video where somebody is telling the verses of the murder and reading them and telling them. It's like, man, this guy was murdering mayhem. You didn't agree with him? Kill him. And, ugh. I don't even know where did Jesus come into the story? Like, Jesus is out there saying, hey, everybody, be nice to everybody. But God is saying, fucking kill him if you don't like him. It's like, what? I don't know. It's a twisted up book. But I think it's to play on people's moral compass. To, like, it seems like to me, you should be able to go in and listen to someone tell those stories and be like, that's not who, no. But so many people are like, yeah, listen, you better do what you're told. You better worship. You're going to go to hell forever. It's like, you guys, come on. It's like your parents sitting there. If you don't do what I say, you're going to go to your room. You'll be in your room all month long. It's like, I think God's a little more advanced than that. I don't know. This is just a weird world. It's a weird experience to wake up in it and just see all the different levels of where people are. And like, man, you hear people talking about things that's like, oh my gosh, like, fuck, especially spiritual stuff. Like, oh my God, people are so much in the dark. Like, man, but that was life experience, and I don't know, because I'm in this one. So, there's so many, I'm sure to the watchers that they're just impressed. Like, they're like, hell yeah. There's so much, it's like the more things we can think of, the more it expands. And the more we can think and the more that we can create but the more we have, based on all of our experiences and stuff. But we're always creating. But when we're in confirmation, when we're in the creation, we are in the experience. So we're in the experience to witness ourselves. So, like right now, because I hear all these people still, like, on all these spiritual, well, if you're being frustrated because you're manifesting and it's just not working, if you haven't got that $10,000 in your account yet, it's like, oh my God. Uh, because, I mean, these people, I don't know what the fuck. I don't even listen to Abraham Hicks, so I don't know what she says. I watched The Secret, and, I knew The Secret was right. The it's like so when you're manifesting, like if I want to go on a vacation. Well, a lot of people will be like, well, we don't have money for that. We can't go on vacation, we can't do that. We gotta do this, we gotta do that. Like, they hold themselves back. I want to go on vacation and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go on vacation, I'm gonna go at this time, and this is where I'm gonna go, and start working towards the trip. You don't try and, hold yourself back. You just start moving towards it, and things will just start happening. All of a sudden there'll be a good price on tickets at the same time you just got your check, and you didn't have to pay for the car to get fixed. The car was way cheaper, so things just will work out. You just go in the direction that you want, the things you want. You don't sit back and hold yourself back. Well, I can't do that. Well, I can't get that. Well, that would be crazy. You got to be crazy sometimes, and just go and trust the universe. I'm telling you, it works. And so that is, or when you want something, you picture it. You keep picturing it. Like when I wanted the wood walls, and I kept picturing, I pictured this cabin. I wanted this cabin. I wanted this porch. Now I've got the porch. When I moved in, it didn't have that porch. That other porch had to fall off, had to rot away, so that I could get this other porch. And I was not even, that porch, that was like an instantaneous thing. It wasn't at all like I thought that I was getting a new porch. But back when I was thinking about, I wanted a little cabin with wood walls, was that little porch. I wanted that little porch because I kept seeing that big English Mastiff lay down on this girl's porch of her little cabin. And I was like, oh, I want that. And then, the wood walls, I would sit there and I would be like, man, I really want wood walls. I really like wood walls. And then I go into the house and there's wood walls. So it is, and like right now, how I keep seeing myself in this, it is like this white ranch kind of, like, I don't know, it's almost like a stucco or something, some kind of white stucco-y kind of stuff or something. And then it's like this brown trim, but it's like almost like logs or something. Like, I keep seeing this place and seeing this place. So, and your mind is kind of like your mind, or you know what you're going to have. That's one thing that I have noticed too. It isn't just like that we're making this stuff. It's also like, what you're going to have. And so there's like a lot going on. Everything is a lot going on. Because you direct your energy towards, like, you picture the things you want. You don't sit there and go, well, I won't get that. Well, if I go there, I'll never find what I want. I never find anything I want. I can't find the things I like. Well, I wonder why. So if you go in and you think about the things you like, you picture what you want. You picture, like, man, I really want a pair of jeans that fit me good. And you start envisioning, like, how you want them to fit. Like, I would really like them to be tighter in my butt and then a little looser in the legs. I want them to kind of go out over my shoes. Start really figuring out, I want them to be high-waisted, or I want them to be, you start really anchoring in on what it is you want, envisioning it, seeing it. And then, like for me, I'm doing that because, like, I would do that and go to the thrift store and then find it. So you do, like, you envision it, and then you go out and it will come to you. Like when I did the dresser, and I kept envisioning the dresser, I knew exactly what I wanted in this spot. And I knew what I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to have like these antique knobs and stuff. I wanted it to be basic, and I had it totally pictured. And then I went outside for a walk, one day, and like 5 houses down, it was sitting out on the street out in front of somebody's house that they had just put it out. So I went back, I got my car, I went and got it, and I took it home, and they had used it for their kids. It had stickers on it, had all sorts of stuff. So I cleaned it, I sanded it, and I painted it. I cleaned all the knobs. The knobs were really cool looking. I cleaned the knobs and got them back to like brass. So I did like this black and brass knobs, and got the dresser exactly like what I had wanted. And so manifesting it's a movement. It's like picturing the things you want and knowing the things you want, and then they'll come to you. And then when it gets into bigger things, it's like money. Like if you go and you start saying, well, I want this money, you will, like, there's some people, like if I go and do that, then it would be like, I would just know that wasn't, like that isn't, I don't know how to explain it, because it would sound like I'm doing just what I'm saying. Like, no, but it isn't like that. It is like, there's certain experiences you're supposed to go through. It isn't like, oh, I get myself into this situation, and now, I just go and I picture the money in my account, and the money's in my account. I don't know, because I believe that you're supposed to go through different experiences so you learn and grow. So that when you go through an experience where you don't have something, there's a reason, like there's more to it. So to me, it's like the manifesting money is a different thing. And, it's, but wealth, great wealth and stuff like that, that's destiny. And that's where it's so weird right now, because you have all these people that are trying to manifest great wealth. They think that is, and we're breaking free from the three-dimensional, which is where you would find your great wealth of, but we're moving into a time of abundancy. So that drive in everybody is moving us towards this time of having everything, because people are desiring it and they want it. And so we'll have it. But the things that they desire are just this, they're always looking for the artificial and stuff. Because if you sat there and you kept being like, well, I need a house, I need shelter. But people don't do that. They want to go through the middleman. They think they need money. Well, if I get some money, I need some money. I need some money. I got to get money. I got to go find money. If I go get this, I can get money. If I sell this, I can get money. Like money, money, money. Instead of going and saying, hey, universe, I need some food. And then, walk outside and there's some food. Like there's a different approach, to get more into that energy of trusting the universe. See, you're not trusting the universe, you're trusting yourself, but you're asking the universe to give you money so that you can go get the things you need, instead of trusting the universe, which is yourself, to give you what you need. So it's all this learning. It's like this learning to have this trust fall into yourself, to trust yourself. And so you have to go through, we're all these different experiences, all these different challenges, all these different obstacles. They're all for a purpose. They're all to help us grow, to become more, to become expansive. And the more experience you have, it's like the more, like a Boy Scout or Girl Scout with a whole bunch of badges, it's like that. So, it's a desirable, if you were a Girl Scout like me, you had like 2 badges, and then you'd have these other girls, and they were going filling their whole fucking thing up with badges. It's like, ugh, girl. But that is what it is, like experiences, what these are our experiences. This is our reference. This is our understanding. It's what makes your aura brighter. It's what gives your DNA expansion. So it's you evolving, you going more into yourself, rather than staying trapped in the 3D part of yourself that is taking from you. It's choosing you and going towards yourself instead, and not worrying about if you're a laughing stock. And plus, right now, like, look around. We fucking got Lady Di coming out 30 years younger. Like, come on. Like, come on, really? And you're going to come and tell us that she had a hidden child that just looks exactly like her? Most girls, most firstborn girls look exactly like their dad. And I learned about that because I was told all the time, you look exactly like your dad. Well, it's it's a phenomena that happens so that when the baby comes out, it looks like the dad. It's how the dad bonds to the first child because he sees himself. And so he is able to bond to his child in that way. So always there's a thing about the daughters, the first daughters look like their dads. And so, yeah, this girl looks like exactly like Diana, only she's got like Pamela Anderson hair from the 80s or something. But she is, like, come on. I don't, especially, if you had spent years being hidden away and not getting to live, then yeah, you probably want to come out guns a-blazing, looking good. So she does look good. She doesn't look like some old lady, I'll tell you that. But yeah, there's no way. I probably, just with the information I know, I don't think they could ever convince me that was Lady Di's daughter. I mean, I'd have to see, but I never saw Diana in person, but I used to be like obsessed with her. She was around my age. We were going through the same kind of things. She was so similar to me. We were both like the same body type. My hair was more like hers. I didn't have my hair as short as hers, but I did have my hair short at different times. But, she was really popular, and we had a lot of things that I paid attention to about her. And when she got killed, I really was devastated. But I was really glad to hear that she probably wasn't killed. And, I do think that there is some people who are hidden. But now this whole thing with the JFK Jr. thing and this other guy coming out, he does look like the kid in the pictures. The one who's out there saying he's the real JFK Jr. Maybe that was the thing. Maybe his body double guy is going to come out and not claim to be JFK Jr. Like the guy who was going out doing George Magazine and stuff. Like, because this other guy, he looks like the kid grown up. Like, this place is just a fucking mind fuck, I'll tell you. It's a mind trap. It's a mind fuck. And you can't get too held into it because it will hold your mind. It will trap your consciousness. It will hold you because it's what you're focused on. What you're focused on is your reality. What you're focused on, it becomes your reality. So all these people who are just focused on fear, well, they're living in fear because they're focused on the fear. They're focused on what's scaring them. So they're just focusing on what scares them. And if they would stop, then they would, it's like you can have an awareness of it. Like I fucking have an awareness of all this shit. I know they're fucking doing all sorts of stuff. They're murdering, they're fucking crazy. But I also know that the souls are doing this stuff to be outrageous, to wake people up. And I also know that lost souls are leaving this game because it's been fucking hard and they're not going forward. And the move forward is going to be, more mastery, more learning. It's like we have got a group that we're, get excited. Get excited for what's to come because it's going to be, it's going to be some challenges. It's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of pain being purged out when things switch the other direction. So, and we're right at the edge of this switch. We're right, like, look, it's just so crazy. And then you don't know, like, is the ground gonna rumble? Is the sky gonna open, or is the dollars gonna crash? Like, I don't know. I know the dollars are gonna crash. And on my bank thing, it ended up that they had flagged my card, and that but it took another girl. That bank that I had called like 3 times. And every time the girl would go, well, I just talked to managers, and both managers looked at your account and said, nothing's wrong with it. And it kept doing that. So I kept calling. So then I finally asked my daughter, can you go down and just get me a new ATM card? Something's going on. They won't fucking, And so she said she would, but she needed to stop at the one on her way to her work. So she, messaged me, she was leaving. And I was like, they were not answering the phone. but called like 20 times and they hadn't answered the phone. So I said, just go up there and then get me on the phone with the girl up that one, and I'll tell her what's going on. So she did that, and the girl called me on the house phone, and confirmation. And so she was saying that she went and looked, and she said, yeah, if you just go and look, it looks like everything's fine. But when you go in and look, then you see that everything that I'm trying to put through is coming up as a stolen card. And so she gave my daughter a temporary card, because I told her, I'm supposed to be going somewhere. She gave her a temporary card, and then she is sending me another card. So, but the other girls, it was like, and they were like robots. And my daughter said this girl was really nice. Like, she was really present, and she worked at the banks. And so I'm just like, because the robot people out there in the world make sense to me. But the kind people who are out there, trying to keep keep things going, and, trying to hold on to their own, probably trying to hold on to her own apartment or her own bills and stuff. But, she was really nice. But some of these other people, they're like robots. And so anyways, but I was hoping it was the whole fucking bank crash, but no, it was just my card. So I don't know how long this can just drag out. Like, fuck. But it's all going to go. Like, this is all to expose. Like, all this money launder. Like, this is all, they've got a big show going. It's a big show. How it's going to go down. It's going to be, just like, let's arrest all these people, put them in jail, and then a couple months later, let's have all these other people in there. And just, oh, that's okay. Where's Pelosi now? And where's Clinton? This is just whacked. But this is the absurdity. This is the stuff that gets people to wake up, that they have to see. And then once you get in the room, and then you see, like, where you stand on something, and your own biases start coming up. So they're, front and center for you to see for yourself. And that is one thing that is also seems to be in this progressive argument. Like, boy, they are some fucking name calling. But they come in and attack you all the time, a name call, but they start going in on each other. And so some people support one side, and some people support the other side. The news is saying one thing, that people are saying another. So it's a big clusterfuck, and all these people are getting so mad about it and arguing. But that's like this energy that has to be purged out. That's part of their awakening. But it's also a part of them seeing the darkness inside of themselves. Like the anger, just wanting other people dead. Well, I don't agree with them, so I want them dead. Well, that's like out of the Bible. Is that what you really want? That's like how these people live. This is their book. This is what they want. Listen to me or die. And it's like, because I don't know. I just always think about nature as being, how God wants us to live, how the natural order of things, just deers, bears, all these things just going out and just being in harmony with their environment, going out and experiencing. And, that's what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about just us experiencing. My stomach is just growling and growling every day. Just break all these parasites, because what else is it? I don't know. But I am having a hard time eating right now, that's for sure. I still am on the, just eat some chips, and I keep getting, queso and shit. Queso and cookies, and, the oven won't work. I tried to make some biscotti yesterday. It took, fucking an hour and a half to cook it, and didn't even cook it all the way. So, I don't just can't. I yearn for this energy to turn. It's going to make such a difference. I think all of this, things not working and everything, is just because it's turning the other direction. And it's this reality is like lights are going out of one reality, and the lights are going to come on in the other one. So, we're just at this transitional time. So I'm not going to stress out about the oven or any of the stuff that's breaking right now. It's not going to do you any good. Everything is going to be breaking apart. You just gotta let go of it, because if you focus all your energy on it, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. You gotta be in this energy of like things are falling apart. uh, you know um yeah, that girl who was just saying that, because she was talking about like spiritual, like you're probably noticing that these different changes in yourself, and you probably don't want to be around the same people, and you don't want to talk about the same things and stuff like that, which, I mean, that's definitely a part of your evolution, evolving away from different groups and stuff like that. But the whole thing is it doesn't just happen by itself. It's like things will happen, situations will happen, conversations will happen, and then you've got to face those conversations, those experiences, and then heal them. Don't just run from incidences. Face them and heal them, and then still you can move away from people you're not in alignment with. If you have a friend group and everybody's just still wanting to sit and play video games and drink beer on Friday night, and you want to sit outside and stare up at the stars and talk about what life means. You've changed your alignment, your vibration is changing, and so that's a different thing. But a lot of people, they start noticing like, oh God, that's so cringy about all of these different people and stuff. And I think some of them turn into arguments and stuff like that. But remember, as you're going through it, like, these were your friends, these are your friend group, there's a part of you that is associated with them, and there's a part of you that needs to heal with everything that you let go of. And so don't just think just running away from different groups is going to just be the ultimate thing that changes you. No, you've got to heal all the different things. There's reasons why you were in these relationships. There's reasons why all these different people have been a part of your life. And the relationships that I'm talking about, the significant ones, are the ones that are like family members and stuff. Like, when I start arguing with my daughter, oh, hell yeah, there's a part of me that's just like, fuck this. I am never going to talk to her again. I cannot handle this. This is too much. But then, I have my higher mind come in and talk sense to me and calm me down. And then it's like, okay, yeah, okay, yes, I can. Yes. There's other parts of yourself that you need to develop, because the relationships that are the closest to you have a significant, they impact you. They're there for you to learn and grow, and just in all the different ones and all the different things. Some are helping you to grow in good ways, and some are pushing you in ways that you don't want to be pushed, that help you grow. And those ones, will irritate you and make you mad and stuff. So anyways, just keep remembering there's a bigger picture. There's more going on here. And this is not just about all of this. This is like the show. The show has to end. It has to end in some way. And it's, going to end in all this drama and stuff, because it's the end of this age. We have to release that age. We have to see all of the toxic shit out of that age. And then plus we have this whole transition into the new age. So it's like, it's a big thing, because that's a different experience, this transitioning. And so that is like why I know you've got to be releasing the past, releasing your past versions of yourself, releasing your emotional attachments to anger and judgment towards other people. And I'm always in the process of that. And I've really found, God, Kelly, you are judgmental. You're always judging this or judging that. But, I needed to have that part of myself, as it was a part of my learning. It was a part of how they were able to point out to me so much dysfunction and toxic behaviors in relationships and stuff. It's like I was always watching. I was always seeing. I was always like, and then I always wanted to go deeper in and understand, like, where did that feeling come from? Where did that behavior come from? And that's where I started seeing, like, fuck, there's so many different kinds of abuse. There's so many different kinds of things that affect people. We all think like, oh, well, you weren't beaten, so get over it. It's like, no, there's like so much stuff. People are affected so many different ways. But you got to remember that those effects, that's what you came in to get over. That's what you came in to learn from. Those effects were supposed to affect you. not supposed to affect everybody else, supposed to affect you, because that's your obstacles. That's where you learn to grow and champion yourself and become, you know, the better version of yourself by getting over the obstacles, by getting over all of the things that are hard and seeing that you can get over them. You can do better. Nothing can hold you back. There's not a diagnosis, a label, nothing. And it's all about growing into an acceptance for yourself, learning to love yourself. And there's nothing broken about you. There's parts, they wanted to make you and feel like you were broken. So they had to take natural parts of yourself and try and tell you that those were wrong. There's something wrong with that. So you would close that part of yourself off, or you would hide from that part of yourself, or you would hide it from other people. But now it's time for you to start realizing, like, oh, that was these people who were trying to shame me, make me feel bad about myself. Now I got to get out there and just see, and you be weird. It doesn't fucking matter. We're all weird. There's, the people who aren't weird are the ones that are trying too hard. It's, you're weird. We're all weird. We're not supposed to make sense to all one another. We're all creators. We're all creating experiences. We all have our own focus. So you're not supposed to convince everybody you're right or wrong about something. I'm not supposed to be convinced. You're not supposed to be convinced. We're all supposed to just be free and be ourselves. So that's the big movement here. That's what we're releasing and letting go. We're shedding all of this skin. We're shedding all of the ways that we allowed people to control us and to see us and to restrict us and to hold us back from our true selves. So it's shedding that idea, shedding that skin, and moving towards your true self, which, you're a lot of different things. You're different creatures, you're different beings, you're a lot of stuff. So anyways, just remember, you're complex, you're complicated, you're not a label. They can't just turn you into a label. They can't just, minimize you like that. That's their game. That's trying to turn us into numbers. Numbers matter, and human life doesn't matter. The numbers matter. But we got to pull out. We're not numbers. We're more than numbers. And you got to realize how much more. So anyways, have a good day. Today's Thursday. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, it'll probably be a big crash landing into the end of this week, you would think. But fuck, but I just got to keep reminding myself, this is all a big show. It's a big show. The dollar thing is crashing. It's going to probably something around the 28th. It's something around by the end of this month. And now they're bringing up about FedNow again, and that's going to be starting November 1st, which also makes me think like, okay, so they're just trying to get us to remember, so we're noticing, and because no, we're not going to go on the FedNow in November. I think that the quantum thing is already starting. I do think that the debt's gone and all of that stuff. So we got to just play it out. And I'm telling you, go buy silver. If you haven't bought any, go buy some silver. Anything, any coins. Money Metals has a commercial every 5 minutes, I swear to God. And that's not by accident either. That's building and building and building. But to me, that just shows it's building up. It's about to go. Is the more bills, the faster it comes, the closer it is to explosion. So everything is exploding. So Money Metals has commercials constantly. And that was the one that I got it from the last time. And it was hand delivered to me within 2 days. I was shocked. I mean, they're on top of it right now. So it's like they will help you help yourself. But you got to get out there and help yourself. I would say don't pay some of your bills, but go buy some silver. Do yourself a favor. Plan for the future. Quit trying to hold on to what they want you to think that this is all there is. This is the end of their little weirdo world. So anyways, I will talk to you tomorrow. I was going to say, if there is a tomorrow, there will be a tomorrow. There will always be a tomorrow. There's always another tomorrow. But, we're kind of in a Groundhog Day situation. But, in some places, it's very horrible and chaotic. Where I'm at is just there's such a repetition. It's I got to do something to get out of here to break it up. Fuck. It's crazy. So anyways, just take care of yourself, take care of your own mind. And you don't have to. It doesn't make you a better person to look at all of this horrible stuff, especially when you have the understanding that they're creating images, they are creating this stuff. They are fucking setting up whole people in body bag, like all sorts of shit. They do shady shit to traumatize you. And remember, they don't like to waste the little ones. I mean, they waste them. They'll waste them, all right, but they won't waste them. They will, they want to use, so they want to get what they can. Then, leftovers go to, the waste part. But anyways, just keep that in mind as I keep just talking about how much of all of these little ones keep going missing and keep all of this stuff. I don't know. It could be fucking white hats going through and just fucking taking all these kids and putting them all somewhere so that all of a sudden all these kids go back and everybody realizes like, oh my God, they were kidnapping all the kids and now we got them all back, luckily, because they were saved by these people. But they have to have this stuff happen. Maybe that's why it's picking up so much. It could be because they've got so many criminals here, but it also could be because they're participating to get the outrageous shit going, to get people to pay attention. But there will be a big return if that is the situation. We just don't know. But try and stay on the more positive end. Try and, remember what you focus on. It becomes your reality. Focus on the wood walls and you'll have them. So, just keep in mind, what you think about is your reality. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.